Thank you, Gonk. Thank you. What? What are you doing?
We're
You're not
live.
going to shoot water on him again, are you? That messed things up last time.
I suppose I won't.
Thank you. Tighten up that lid.
I won't. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Badonka Gonk, the Star Wars podcast that you know and you love. And we're riding high right now on some Star Wars with Andor currently going on.
Yeah. Andor has been interesting. It was funny. We were doing Andor this week, and I was like, man, I need to recollect everything that's happened in the show because I'm mixing things up with what has happened in this book. Because like there's similar characters that we've had.
No, yeah,
so
sure.
I was trying to remember what stories were going on, but no, it's been
I
it's been
started. We'll get into the book. But I asked, you know what? I'll save it. I'll save it for when we talk about the book.
Okay, good.
We'll have a book review about Reign of the Empire, The Mask of Fear. That's coming up. We also are going to be going over some things that happened at Star Wars Celebration, but specifically that happened with fans.
Fans of Star Wars?
Fans of Star Wars at Star Wars Celebration. So we're going to be talking about some of that stuff. We're going to be checking out an interview that Sam Witwer did about Maul Shadow Lord.
Dude.
I think it's about Maul Shadow Lord. That also happened at Celebration.
Yes. Sam Witwer.
He loves Sam Witwer.
Sam Witwer.
We know that
it's okay.
It's uncomfortable sometimes,
okay.
but it's good. It's good. You see he's trying to DM Sam?
Again?
Yeah.
I told you couldn't do that, Gonk. You said last time you weren't allowed to.
I know. We erased his memory and everything. He keeps coming back. I don't know how it happens.
He has quite a mouth on him, too.
And then we'll also be talking about the book, and we'll have questions at the end. And if you have questions specifically about Andor or this book, we'll try to prioritize those. But we always try to get to as many questions as we can, which is all of them. We've never not answered them all.
We like never answer them all. Never. Never, Eric. But make sure you guys submit some so that we can talk about them later. Yes.
Yeah.
We should also mention, guys, I think we should mention now rather than wait until later, right?
Mention it.
We should mention, like, tomorrow, what's happening tomorrow?
What's happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow, guys, we're going to be playing Knights of the Old Republic. So Eric and I have played Jedi Fallen Order together. We also did Battlefront 2, the story campaign for that. We're going to sit down and begin tomorrow playing Knights of the Old Republic, the first original Knights of the Old Republic. And I've never beaten the game. I think I've played it
You've played but never beaten.
I think there's been 4 different occasions of me starting this game and being like, I'm going to play this game. And then something has stopped me from beating the game every time.
When was the latest attempt? Has it been quite some time?
I feel like back when Blind Wave started, there was a May time where I was like, I'm going to play some Star Wars games. And I think I might have played Knights of the Old Republic during that time, but I don't know if I got off Terrace.
No, sure.
Because I think I played that. I think I played like, I played through the last of the Kyle Katarn. Is that right? Of those games?
Yeah.
Whatever the last one of that is.
Jedi Academy.
Yeah, I played that one with Maximilian as a voice in it. I think I might have played a few others.
He played Rosh, that's right.
Yeah, he was the other one that you didn't play.
The most beloved character in that game.
He played him in there. So, but no, we're going to play Knights of the Old Republic. It starts tomorrow. We're also going to play Saturday.
We are?
Which starts at 10 a.m. And then next week, like all the streams except for the podcast is going to be Knights of the Old Republic.
So, KOTOR Friday, KOTOR Saturday, and then Monday,
and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then
we
Friday again, and then Saturday again.
Jesus. It really sucks that we couldn't get Sunday in there and just have a full streak.
Well,
So it's May the 4th there, and we certainly got to do something special for
that
Star
was
Wars.
clearly an oversight. Silly me. Dang.
Well, they're not going to get anything from May the 4th, is that what you're saying?
No, not from KOTOR.
Not from KOTOR? No. Should I also just
if you
talk
have
about
an answer
my
to maybe
thing?
appease the people,
Okay.
that might be good because
Sure.
maybe they want something.
Well, some of you saw that last night I put out a tweet saying, hey, here's an idea. What would you guys think if I took my wife through Clone Wars in a reaction series? Jancy, who has seen all the Star Wars movies and really helped me out with the Schmodown, so has like little tiny nuggets of like, how do you know that?
Of random information?
Yeah, she's never watched any of the animated shows, any of the television shows, and I love watching shows with her. So, yeah, we got really good responses from that tweet last night. So I think maybe Sunday we might release the first reaction for May the 4th.
Cool.
And it might
That'd be
even
great.
have early access over at blindwave.com. It's almost as if we've been planning this for a while.
Yeah, right? You worked hard after that tweet last night.
I totally did. Yes, she doesn't like Star Wars anymore because of the hours and hours we did.
Hours and hours since then.
No, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be starting Clone Wars on right here on Wave Squadron, and the cool thing about this is that because it's just me and her, and in terms of like our time commitment to it can be more in our control. For this one, every video is going to be an arc of the Clone Wars. So the first one, the first video on Sunday is 2 episodes. It's Cat and Mouse and Hidden Enemy.
Okay.
And the second video is the Clone Wars movie, because that's kind of like 4 episodes put together.
Sure.
And then it's all of Domino Squad and a thing. Then it's all of Toydaria, all of Malevolence. So arcs are going to be each week. So you're not just getting a Clone Wars reaction. You're going to get it a lot quicker than we generally would.
Okay.
So we're going to try that out, see if you guys like it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So then you guys, for like a week, there's like Star Wars stuff for like this whole week.
Yeah, every day there'll be something going
from like
on.
today until, like there's some games and some Star Wars stuff and Andor and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, I'm excited.
Make sure you guys are subscribed on Wave Squadron.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a lot of things coming up, but we got stuff going on right now, Aaron. And what that means is that we're going to be checking out some responses from people that went to Star Wars Celebration Japan this year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Put out a tweet just saying, like, hey, if you had something that you wanted to share or, just an experience, a hype moment, a photograph, a cosplay that you really liked, send it over our way. And I picked 5 emails that I liked. Thank you to everybody, by the way, that sent one. I read all of them. Really cool. Loved your pictures. Super duper jealous because we didn't get to go this year. Though a lot of people,
I did not.
A lot of people saw the normies and sent us pictures of them.
Just pictures of the normies from a distance?
No, the pictures with them in it.
Okay.
But there was one that was like, I love the normies, but I wish it was you. I'm like, oh, thanks.
There was a time I think that there was like someone on socials maybe was like, hey, I saw the guys at Star Wars Celebration, whatever it was, but it was like a picture of us from a distance. Like they didn't come over and say hi. They just took a picture from a distance. Like, no, you should have said hi.
Yeah. But, we weren't absent. Apparently, we were up on screen during the Ahsoka panel. Mm-hmm. Was it Ahsoka panel? Yeah, Ahsoka panel.
I don't know which one it was. I don't want to say Ahsoka.
Yeah, so that was cool. Anyway, so I got some messages here. We're going to start with the first one, which is Ronan Unchained. Some of you might recognize Ronan for having his own React channel right here on YouTube. Hello, crew of Blind Wave. My name is Ronan Unchained. Celebration in Japan was an experience. Seeing the footage from Mandalorian and Grogu. They got footage. Maul, Shadowlord, and Ahsoka Season 2 retro teaser. It was a blast.
Man.
So they got to see some really cool stuff. When we went, I remember seeing a bunch of cool stuff and being like, "Oh, I wonder what the internet thinks."
We can't do anything with this either because nothing's out. We have to wait so eventually it'll be released and we'll get to watch it then at least.
Yep.
But
no, we had like our 360 cam with us, so that way we can record our reactions if like anything, it comes out, we can put a reaction to it. But it was really just 1 or 2 trailers that we were able to do that with. We recorded reactions to the other stuff. Maybe we'll have to go back and find that. And now that those things are out, we can put those reactions out or something. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know where those are archived at, though, right now. Anyway, let's continue with Ronan's message here. Some of the highlights of that weekend, besides experiencing Japan for the first time, was reuniting with and meeting fellow friends/creators for the first time. Folks like Busy Braun, Kyle Katarn, Akasan, the Normies, Kat LaSalle, and Star Wars Explained, and many more. We miss you, especially each night of that weekend. I got to be part of my first panel ever in any con, which was the Dork Forces podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
Thanks to Kyle Katarn, which you can go check out. Yeah, Kyle, he has the Dork Forces on a play of Dark Forces.
Sure, that's great.
Yep. The last thing that I got to be at is the live stage with Dave Filoni and Pedro Pascal were interviewed at some point in both my footage and the Star Wars live stream. You can hear me yell something at Pedro, which he yells back with Dave looking at me and smiling. Surreal moment.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. So Celebration 2027 is in my hometown, Los Angeles. Hope to meet you all there again and maybe do something cool together with other fans/creators. Until then, thank you for your enthusiasm. May the Force be with you. And this is the way.
This is the way.
Thank you so much, Ronan.
Yeah, and awesome pictures too.
Yeah, really cool pictures.
I'm assuming Gonk is showing these to everyone too, but yeah, it's really cool to see Like the picture of the normies that was up there,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
here
we
at
got
the
to meet
Dork
the
Forces
normies.
and stuff too.
Yep.
It was great.
Absolutely.
But yeah, LA here in a couple years.
Yeah, we haven't, talked with Kyle a decent amount at this point, but we've never been able to actually see each other. I don't think he was at the celebration we were at, and then we weren't at the celebration he was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a panel or something would be cool to do at one of these things. Let's see. This next one is from Mitchell.
Okay.
Mitchell says, "Hey guys,
Hi, Mitchell.
Star Wars has been a massive part of my brother and I's lives, and Japan 2025 was our first time at Celebration.
Oh, wow.
My favorite character in the whole saga is Maul, and we were so blessed to have a chance to meet Sam Witwer and take a photo after my brother springed it on me that he had booked a photo op for us."
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. Jancy did that for us with Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, yeah.
At oh man, what one was that? Was that New York Comic Con?
It was New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even a celebration for that one.
I had to rush there right after the Mando panel. Man, I don't miss having to like get to the next thing for Celebration.
Sure. I know London was like at one point I think we were going to try to go to the bathroom or something like that, and then we were just like, forget it, go back to the line.
Just go.
we don't have time to get through everything.
Anyway, so your brother sprung it on you. That's cool. Had to rush. As a fan of all of Sam's appearances in the Star Wars galaxy, it was so cool to see this guy in person and exchange a couple fist bumps. Even got him to pose with our Darksaber. It's so cool that our saber was held by the man himself. And, of course, we had to hit him with the Kenobi stance.
Yeah, right? That's really cool. I remember, I think it was Chicago, I was able to get a picture with Sam and Rey.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Yep, that's awesome. Anyway, so they got the picture, the Kenobi stance. It was later that day when we were all sitting in Celebration, main stage, for the 20th anniversary of Lucasfilm Animation Panel. Needless to say, when Maul Shadow Lord was announced, we were both on our feet, absolutely losing our minds. The trailer was amazing.
Trailer.
To say I can't wait is an understatement. We are still in Japan now, enjoying our last few days here, but keen to get back home to Australia to frame those awesome Lucasfilm animation posters we got for being in there. Oh, man, in the room.
Yep.
That awesome poster.
They always did that stuff where the people in the room got this cool poster.
That was the poster that had, like, every single character that has been animated on it, right? We saw that one, I think. Anyway.
What gonk? I don't remember.
Oh, well, he sees it here. I attached the picture with Sam so that you can check it out, and the photo that the moment that he came out on stage after the trailer, he's lit up all in red, and he said, "Roll it again." Love the channel and the podcast. Keep doing what you're doing, because it's the kind of positivity and love for Star Wars that the fandom needs. May the Force be with you both, Mitch.
Thank you,
Awesome,
Mitch. That's awesome. No, that was one of my favorite things was also when going to these panels, they would always have, like, here's an extra poster that's just for the people in the panels and stuff, too. And then those would be the ones. I think I got one when we went to Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was for Clone Wars in Chicago or something like that. Was like the Ahsoka, like, jumped out and had, like, her stance for Clone Wars coming back. It was so cool. But I'd love to get those ones signed.
The first celebration we went to, we got the Princess Leia one.
Yeah, there was Princess Leia one in Orlando, and then Mandalorian, I think, did one, and it was such a cool poster, and I started having it signed by everyone. I had Rosario sign the moon.
Yeah.
Like, that was really cool. So, awesome.
Yeah.
It's so exciting to get those cool posters.
You know, we were at Celebration Chicago, I think, whenever Ian McDermott came out and said, "Roll it again," but we were in the hotel room. We didn't have access to that panel, so I'm very jealous that you got to see Sam's reprise of that moment. That's really cool. Like the Master and the Apprentice doing the same thing. Let's see. The next one is from Chance. Hello, Badonkagonk. I hope everyone is doing well. The best part about Star Wars Celebration 2025 for me was the opportunity to perform with Saber Guild. If you don't know, Saber Guild is a Disney / Lucasfilm Limited recognized costume and lightsaber choreography club. We're similar to the 501st Legion, but we dress up as space wizards instead of stormtroopers. I'm a member of the Camino Temple, based in Seattle, Washington, and my guildmates and I joined folks from the Kessel Temple, which is in Connecticut, the Lothal Temple, which is in Georgia, the Tokadana Temple in Orlando, the Malachor Temple in central Pennsylvania, the Nar Shaddaa Temple in Las Vegas, and the Ginbara Temple in Tokyo. And then there's the Wayseeker Temple, which is for people without a nearby temple.
Okay.
I like that you can be a way seeker in this guild. That's pretty cool. So they got to perform with them at the convention. Kamito Temple performed Choices, which is a short play, and the other temple members put on a lightsaber choreography exhibition. Exhibition
sounds like an expedition.
Yeah. We also conducted 3 kids' lightsaber training courses over the course of the convention. It was a ton of fun and well worth all the effort put into our productions.
That's sweet.
It takes months of hard work to put something like that show together. I've attached a picture of the Choices cast. I'm on the far right side in the red tunic, glasses, and mask.
Okay.
And the other in the whole Saber Guild contingent. The performances were filmed, but aren't publicly available yet. If you're interested, keep an eye out on the Kamito Temple YouTube channel. We'll post Choices there before too long. The other temple shows should be posted by one of the other YouTube channels. Anyway, may the force be with you. Chance. That's awesome. I love the enthusiasm of the people that get together and do Star Wars choreography because I relate to that super hard.
Yeah.
You know, I've found friends doing that.
No, that's really cool. I remember, I don't know if it was the same group or if it was, I mean, it was at Star Wars Celebration, so it's hard to tell who it was, but there was a bridge that went across this river or whatever it was we were next to, and on the bridge there was a group that I think they were all red sabers, and the other side was colored sabers, and they ran at each other in the dark, and it looked so cool.
Yeah.
So it just that makes me think of that kind of stuff too, of them like coming up. I think they had one person, they were like, looked like they were saying something like they did a charge kind of thing, and then people started coming at. But it was really neat to see that, and I saw that from a distance.
Sweet.
But this is really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Let's go ahead and move on to Marshall. Marshall says, these are some of my favorite cosplays. So he just put a bunch of cosplays that he took pictures of. But yeah, we got Anakin and Padme. That's awesome.
That dress is great.
Yeah, that's the
like, it looks really good.
Naboo dress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sand. That's the sand dress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I also okay. So we got Balin and his apprentice there. That's cool. The orange sabers. You can go ahead and skip through them, Gonk. We got Bo-Katan. That's really cool. That's a great one.
It's a good Bo-Katan.
And then Savage, of course.
That's a cool Savage. I love that.
Cool Savage. Thank you for sending those pictures. Okay, so then let's see. I love, and then they have the penny head Padme, which that headpiece has appeared in.
The penny head?
Yeah, I call it the penny head.
Oh,
but it's in Luthen's thing.
Okay.
And then the last one was the Vader. Yeah, the Vader half
goodness.
mask and Padme. That's awesome.
Aw. That's great, and
that's
kind of
really
sad.
Cool. Yeah, it is kind of sad, isn't it? They also sent us a video. I don't have it right now, but a video of the. He said my favorite part. I love these fans in the Andor prison outfits screaming "One Way Out" throughout the convention center. They did that.
I remember that in London.
In London, and it was awesome. And apparently, it was
did
bigger and badder than ever in
man.
Japan. So
One Way Out.
I think that's a really cool tradition that should be started. It started with the running of the Wilbur Hoods. And now it's
now it's changed.
Prisoners. Yeah. Anyway, my favorite part, apart from meeting Ashley, Vanessa, Ahmed, Sam, and Alan, who all signed my arm, and I got it tattooed, was all of the live stage singing "Happy Birthday" to Hayden.
Aw.
It just made my trip. Kind regards, Marshall.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The love for Hayden has been great, I think. That like the last celebration and stuff, seeing him being received well for coming back and everything. Absolutely. And then I'm glad that it's continued.
Yeah. I saw a thing that was like I don't know, it was some social, but it was like a lady at the movies, like, you know, that gives you your ticket. She's like, "What are you seeing?" And it just like it just goes to Hayden, and he just has like a Darth Vader popcorn bowl or something.
He has I saw him with a bucket and like a Vader drink.
I was like, "Oh, that's cool." All right, and then the last one here that we got that we're going to read is Josh T. Hey, Blind Wave. Celebration time again, huh? Time has flown by since London, and at least for me, Star Wars Celebration Japan went even faster.
Man.
Celebration was so amazing, to be honest. I'm sorry. So amazing this year. Here are a few of my top moments. The panels. The panel selection this year was a bit smaller than London and previous celebrations, but man, did they choose quality over quantity. We saw so many clips and surprises this year, and as you guys know, there are a few things that there are a few things that compare to experiencing those moments with that crowd.
Sure,
I definitely agree. You cannot replace the energy of thousands of people.
I wonder if that
loving
DJ was
something.
there again.
The DJ?
There was that one DJ that was like, he was like running every panel, the in-between times and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what his name was at the moment,
I
but
believe he mentions him in this, so
Does he?
we'll get to it. Let's see. Cosplay. As a fan of Formula One, always seeing clips from fans at the racetrack dressed up, I knew cosplay in Japan was going to go crazy. I was not mistaken. Samurai versions of your favorite characters.
dude, that sounds sweet, man.
Geode from High Republic.
Oh my gosh.
And even, now be careful, a sexy gonk. I don't know if that's more enthusiasm with Sam or the sexy gonk, but all right. So they got the cosplay. The next section is positivity and people. Celebration for me has always been about people. In London, I met an amazing group of friends, and we all traveled out to Japan together. Celebration breeds community. It breeds new friendships more than anything I've ever been a part of before. If you have ever been to the Celebration stage with DJ Elliott,
Oh,
you
I
would
think
have
it
heard,
is DJ Elliott, isn't
Yeah.
it? Dang, how did I not remember that?
You'll have, yeah, I know, with your last name. You'll have heard him preach this as he says, this isn't a normal convention, it's a celebration. I like to think it's not only a celebration for Star Wars, but of moments. Moments surrounded by people you love. A celebration of moments that you'll remember for the rest of your life. I can't wait to get out to LA in 2027 and reunite with the best, most positive fans in the world. Thank you guys for everything you do. Much love from Ireland, Josh T. Awesome, Josh. The pictures that you got,
love
the
the Wookiee.
Chopper and Chewie there, awesome. I am very excited for everybody that went, but also extremely jealous.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking about, man, that's so great. Like I need to go to LA. I need to do that one.
That would be a little easier for us than it would have been to go to Japan this year.
Probably, yeah.
But we'll see. Hopefully, never know. But yeah, we put out a couple of videos, and thanks everybody that sent that in, and everybody that didn't get their things read. I did read them, so thank you so much. But yeah, we saw what we could from Celebration. They obviously don't release everything.
Sure, yeah.
And even sometimes we don't want to see everything. Nexus even said, like, I didn't show you guys like 2 or 3 things.
Sure. No, I mean, even some of the stuff that we saw at Celebration, it was so exciting to see it there with all the fans. But there was also an element where it's like, man, like, are we able to like share this with everyone else that, you know, watches on Wave Squadron or on Blind Wave or wherever, you know? And so
and we did give up the chance of watching the
first episode of Mandalorian, I think it was, that they were showing. It was like, as long as you have this wristband, you can get in. And we're like, no, we'll wait and watch it in the morning.
Yeah.
We won't do this.
Because I remember we ended up watching something while we were there, right?
Watching something while we were there?
Yeah. I think we watched that episode of Mandalorian like at London, but in our room.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
Okay.
we didn't watch it the night before with everyone else. We waited until the morning and watched it in the morning.
Gotcha. Yep.
Anyway.
So yeah, that was awesome. It was fun, and I'm very happy for everybody. But yeah, we've watched all that stuff, but there's also one more thing we haven't watched that we were asked to by Nexus, our great friend, and that was an interview with Sam Witwer. Obviously, I think one of the biggest reveals out of Celebration was Maul.
You said his name again.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. I have to say his name.
All right.
But yeah, I think one of the most exciting things that came out was this Maul Shadow Lord thing. So if Sam talks about that here, that would be awesome. But I'll just listen to that guy talk. So we're going to check out this video. We might pause as we go to talk about stuff versus watching the entire thing, because it is quite a long video. So strap in, everybody. We're going to watch Sam Witwer talk with Athena Portillo at Celebration Live Stage in Japan. I said it again. Dang it.
After mourning this character back in 1999, he made a triumphant return in animated form years later. Formidable warrior, scheming mastermind, and is one of the best at yelling, Kenobi! Give it up for Sam Witwer!
I once had a real name.
Oh, dude, he has some
This is great.
I am called
The You can't get a better
not,
wrestling
man?
intro
That's
than
great.
Duel of the Fates.
There he is. I know, Gonk. He's there.
He's got that jacket on, too.
Yep.
Yep. I think he's been wearing that thing for 20 years now.
Man, he's become such a big part of the community, I think, since just being in Force Unleashed, you know? Like, it's crazy how
That's just the sheer level of his passion, man, that people kept bringing him back because, like, man, it's kind of handy to have around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was great in Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll make him the brother.
Always to their own. I must invite
What?
my Sith
Always
compatriot,
to their
Athena Portillo, producer of Maul Shadow Lord.
Ah, the producer. Okay.
Well, look at the
Oh,
outfit.
that's a cool outfit. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's no poncho, but it's pretty cool.
No, it's not a poncho, Eric.
What's that music?
Oh no, I was trying to place it.
Is that from Maul Shadow Lord?
Jump, 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 jump.
I don't recognize it.
You two look pretty chill and cheerful. Athena comes out, and you know she's running a show about a Sith.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
She's not playing around.
You're not playing around.
No.
This is very serious business.
It is. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
She produces like a Sith. She
Oh,
does.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Turning you against your compatriots,
Yes.
whispering things in your ear.
Mistrust,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Thank you for introducing me.
He's
Thank you.
hold you back.
Do me ticket.
Well, welcome back to Celebration. It's always lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
It's, just about the end of day one, but I feel like y'all have had a pretty full day.
Yeah, it's been okay.
Yeah? It's been
Anything
just
happening?
fine? Anything big for you?
Nah.
No?
I wonder how
Nothing you
long
wanna
he's had to
talk
sit on
about?
that.
No.
Yeah, right. How long have they been working on Maul?
I don't know.
They'll probably go over that.
Is there anything you guys want to know about from Sam and Athena?
Look at that cam angle they have.
But I would have to violate my NDA.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's where the Sith comes out.
yeah?
That's where the Sith
I'm
comes
hearing what's an NDA. I'm hearing do it.
Do it.
I mean, listen. You know what I say? I say, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Is it okay? Can we talk? Can we talk
We
about
can
it?
talk a little bit.
Let's talk a little bit about
Okay.
it. Why not?
I genuinely, I am more afraid of her than I am of you.
You should be.
I know. I'm
Dude, it'll
like,
be a
you
dream
be
job
cool,
to do
Sam
a
Witwer,
show
because if
like
she
this
gets
at
mad at
Celebration.
either of us, it's
Yeah.
over.
Jealous of Andy.
Yeah, exactly.
Get to talk
So no,
about.
tell us a little bit about
Ask the
what you've
questions
been
about
working
Maul.
on, because this is extremely exciting. Maul is coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a High Republic saber.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes. Well, what do you even say? I mean, they brought me in a year ago on this. So this has been something that I've been wanting to talk about, but haven't been able to talk about for a year,
Yeah.
which is terrible.
Which is horrible.
Why
for
would you do that to me? Why did you do it to me?
Because
Sam is
I'm
terrible.
Sith.
Because I'm the Sith.
Oh.
Sam's terrible at secrets. That's the
Pretty
issue.
much.
Holding on to that for a year, you were like a kid sitting on your hands.
Yeah. He texts me. He's like, "Hey man, how's everything going? I've never even seen a Star Wars. What are you talking about?
What have you been up to? What have you heard?
What have you heard? What have you heard? It's a lie. I'm fired."
No, but okay. We do have some details that we can talk about, right, Athena? You can tell us a little bit.
Sure.
Well, I'd like Sam to tell us where he was exactly when he found out that he was going to be a part of this show.
Well, wait. When you think I found out, or when I actually found out?
Both.
Because
Do you see the treachery between the two of them?
He
yes.
must have heard.
Do you see the clandestine antics?
You see?
think I found
Many
out.
Bothans died to bring me this information.
I grew up with Manny Bothans.
Manny Bothans is a great guy and a hell of a spy. Great spy, turns out, that guy. James Bond, that guy,
Yeah.
you know? Well, no, Dave, summoned me to Lucasfilm in Burbank.
Yeah, he can do that now.
He has the powers of summoning. So I was just, I was in bed and I woke up and I've been summoned. No, so I went over and sat me down. And Dave, he just kind of like without any fanfare, he goes, okay, so we're doing a mall show, and here's the thing about the mall show. You got to remember, and you're like,
wait,
what's
what?
the first part you just said?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's great.
It's like, we're doing a mall show. It's like, am I part of it?
He's like,
Do
no,
I get to be in it?
Peter Serafinowicz.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. Nice. Yeah. He just started telling me about it. And what was really cool for me was that, like,
I
there
feel bad
were
for that guy a
moments
little
when
bit.
we were working
But I
on
love Sam
Mall
Witwer.
for
I
the other shows.
Yes.
And I would come up with an idea, and Dave would, this happened twice, where I'd come up with an idea, what if this happened with Maul? And he says, yeah, that kind of detail, it's not really Maul's show, so you can't really do that.
Oh.
And he said that twice. I had another idea, and he's like, yeah, with that kind of detail, that's not really Maul's show, so you can't really do that.
Oh, now we
So
can? Now we can do
we're
that?
doing those types of things because this is...
But he didn't say what those things were, man.
Sam Witwer Unleashed, dude.
Yeah.
It's not really his
It never
show.
occurred to me that that's what he was thinking. When he said it's not Maul's show, I just took it as, well, yeah, this is about Ahsoka right now, and this is about that, so we're not going to do this. But I guess he was thinking long-term or hinting or tormenting me or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now we do know there is a show. Do we know the name of the show?
Oh, do you guys not know the name of the show?
Oh, okay, good.
Maul.
Yeah.
Go ahead, say the name.
Oh, Maul Shadow Lord.
And they did. Someone was like, hurry up, get the thing ready.
Well, you got to think they had the panel, and then a lot of these people probably
No, they
were
were
at
at the
the
panel.
celebration.
No.
It's like, how much air horn do we get to do during the mall thing? And I was like, I mean, listen, as much as you want.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
Maul Shadow Lord, and this is Maul's show. Now we can tell these details about, because I mean, I
book
think one of the
called
things
Darth
that y'all
Maul Shadow
did
Warrior, I think, at
in
one
point. Shadow
animation
Warrior.
that was so wonderful is you added so much depth to this character who in the films we really only see for a handful of minutes. And you really used that character to even go into depths of whole new civilizations and things like that. I mean, Maul has built so much. It's got to be cool to be able to tell stories about him now.
Yes.
What are you going to be telling us?
A lot, but unfortunately I can't
Nothing
tell
today.
too much. But what I can say is Sam Witwer's involvement in the show has been pristine, so I'm very excited about him being able to review the scripts and provide input and all of that as well. So
That's
That's
awesome.
Dave
That's great.
Filoni and Sam created the character for animation, and so it's very important to hear his thoughts as well for the character depth. So very excited about that.
She's been so
love
good
the
to me
red.
because we've known each other for a long time and we've worked together on Clone Wars and Rebels and all that. But she's the mastermind on this. She's the one who, when you have a producer who refuses, like, if something happens and she goes, oh, that's great, that's not good enough. And you go, well, what do we do? She's like, you try it again. We try it again? Yeah, try it again. Try to do it like this and do that. Like, she has been working with Dave for so long that she's like, if Dave is Darth Sidious, she's like Darth Maul coming to, to make sure his influence is felt. And then Dave himself arrives, and then he does his thing. But it's so wonderful to have a producer who will she just refuses to see you fail. She continuously inspires every department to push further than we've ever pushed before.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Let me tell you, no, it's very rare that I ever work with or hear about a company or hear about a creative team that people are working with where everybody unanimously loves somebody and values their input, but everybody I've spoken to loves Athena and values Athena's input
God.
so much.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, it's true. And I think it's wonderful. I mean, the thing that's great about you, Sam, is, I mean, you all know that Sam is a brilliant performer and stuff, but a lot of you also know that Sam is a Star Wars encyclopedia.
He is.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
corrected
He
Dave.
can't help it.
Yep.
You care deeply about this.
Well, holocron, not encyclopedia. Holocron
Sure.
is the term.
Yeah.
It's holocron.
You idiot.
Because they don't have encyclopedia.
No, they don't have
No,
them
it's
there.
called holocron.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the Jedi Library, yeah.
And so I would imagine that your job is sort of wrangling some of that.
I actually love
Wrangling.
it.
You gotta wrangle it.
I feel like I have an opportunity
in.
to have my own personal podcast with Mr. Witwer. So
She's so patient with me.
I have learned a lot from Mr. Witwer.
Let him
as
just
well.
talk a second.
Calls
Okay.
at 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about Ben Quadraneros, Athena, and I just don't think what happened
As
to him
we
was
all
fair.
do.
Yes.
As we all do.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had to think of a
No,
character
Where's the
that there's
Ben
no way they're in
Quadraneros?
there.
Why are you thinking Ben
series?
Quadraneros?
Lucasfilm Animation.
Well, we just hit our 20 years. There's 20 more, so you never know.
That's right.
Quadraneros, Power Racer.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quadraneros, a Star Wars story.
That's right.
Think about that.
There you go.
That's right.
That's got a good ring to
would
it.
100%
Really
watch
good.
that.
I
You
like
would.
it.
A pod
We
racing
shouldn't
show?
talk about
Pod
it.
racing would be
NBA.
fun.
That would be
Coming
badass.
soon
Make
from
Rick watch it.
Lucasfilm
Yeah.
Animation.
Yeah.
No, so this is, I mean,
He has his
I
Three
genuinely
Stooges
want to say,
pit-
for those
pit
of you,
droids.
you know a lot about Sam and about Sam's fandom, but like Athena's fandom runs just as deep. Like Athena, there's like a photo of you, 8 years old,
Oh, yeah.
dressed as Princess Leia. You know, like you were in it from the beginning. You and I, whenever there's a celebration, we like text each other about kind of like fandom things that are happening in the city. Like, oh, I found a nerdy restaurant that's themed after this.
Yes.
You are just as much of a
Nerd.
yeah.
You can say it,
yeah,
nerd.
But
It's okay.
Yeah, but also you're a bit of a holocron yourself, and I don't think people know that.
Oh, yes.
She's like, no.
Well, not as much as Sam and you.
Oh,
but-
yeah,
Come on.
name
No,
10
no, no.
Jedi.
What's great about Athena is there will be some moment in a show called Maul Shadow Lord that we're discussing, and I'll go,
Some
oh,
moment.
it's like that episode in Clone Wars when this and that happened, and she knows because she was there. She
Yeah.
worked on it. She was, you know, we have kind of a dream team on this. You know, we got Maddie,
Yes. Matt McNivitz.
who's
He's
writing.
our head writer.
Yeah, he's our head writer. He's writing incredible stories, and I
Good.
love what he's crafting because we learn some different things about this character. He's got some different traits that you wouldn't necessarily think he has
Wonderful bringing
up.
that
Yeah.
make perfect sense from what he's been through.
Yeah.
It takes place, what is it, about a year after the Clone Wars? Yeah. So,
okay.
So before
yeah,
Solo.
You know, he's dusting himself off a little bit. You know, Ahsoka kicked him to the curb. That wasn't nice.
You stole her
so-
ship, flew
so,
away.
You
He's
know, we get
fine.
to really explore that, and then Brad Rao coming off the Bad Batch, which is
Yes.
he's brilliant.
Yes.
Brad and Maddie together are like. Have you ever tasted chocolate with peanut butter? It's really good.
Yeah.
They're the
No, I
space-
haven't, but now that you bring it up.
You should try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like it would work.
Yeah. You can call him Sam's peanut. Sam, my middle name is Reese. Sam Reese. Just call him Reese's.
Yeah,
peanut-
no, that's
Yeah.
good. Because you don't want to take it. You don't want to. Otherwise, it would be too egotistical.
I
Those
agree.
Sam's pieces.
Yeah, Sam's pieces. I don't.
No.
That's
Take
not
a
really
step
cool.
back for once. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
Let's
all
call
about
it my
you.
middle name, Reese. Yeah.
No, but it sounds like this is. You guys have the team that you really need, you really want.
And
to do this
Joel
specific
Aaron and
thing.
Keith Kellogg and
Oh
the
my God.
entire team. I mean, you know, these people we've been working with
And the
for
Kiners. I heard that the Kiners.
Oh, the
forever.
Kiners are
I mean,
working on it too?
I met these people, what, 15, 16 years ago?
Yeah.
Started working with them. So we have the dream team on this, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
And
I-
you know these people. You know that they're going to do something special and that they want to do something special. And on this show particularly, everyone's been kind of pushing a little harder. You know, they've just been really excited. Would you say, is that
Yes,
accurate?
absolutely. That was the agenda, making sure that everything was, we called it like a 30% upgrade overall, but it was more than that. And the morale on the show is so stellar. Everyone's so excited about this show. I'm very excited about this show. It makes me very emotional to even think about it, and I can't wait
All
for
the
you all
show?
to see.
Like just like
what
Sam
we're
Witwer's the main
creating.
character, you know?
So,
Like what?
I think we're all excited.
He gets to have input on it.
Ah,
You know.
gets a chance to be like, you know what? I think Maul would do this. Yeah, okay, let's do that
you know,
then.
like-
Like, oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, and you all touched on
He's
the
earned
fact
it.
that we're talking about 20 years of Lucasfilm animation now, and you all have really been there since the jump.
Yeah.
Do you have any? You've worked together for so long. Are there any any memories that really stick out to you from the early days? Things where you're like, wow, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe we were a part of that.
I would say the Emmy nominations for Clone Wars, we were all there together experiencing that. It's just brought us closer. We are definitely family. Like Lucasfilm Animation's always been family, and Sam's part of that family, a key part of that family. So, yeah.
I always liked learning the lore.
No.
David. No, it's going to be weird for me to say, I know. Go with me here. You would learn something new about Star Wars, and you would learn it through Dave and George. And now, Dave, we're learning that he's been keeping secrets from us. That there's forgotten pieces of lore that, that he and George worked out, and that they're seeping into this series in weird ways. So now, my trust in him has been broken. He has been keeping way too much, and it is time that...
He's got a new hat.
What should we do?
It's time that he share?
He's time that he share.
I mean...
Because the Sith always share.
That's right.
That's right.
They're great at that.
That's what they know.
Yes.
No, I was going to say, it looks like he's wearing a new hat, and it looks like he can keep more secrets under it than the old one.
New hat?
That's right.
Yeah. It's a little bit bigger.
That is a covert hat.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what
a
I say
bigger
whenever
hat
I
for
see
his
Dave's hat.
secrets.
That's a covert hat.
It's a covert
no
hat,
one's going to
Dave.
notice that.
Very suspicious. Yeah.
It's like the hat from Harry Potter. It
Yes.
sorts you into different, he is our mentor, Dave Filoni.
He sorts everyone perfectly
That's
every
correct,
time.
yes.
I do want to touch on some other stuff that's happening in Lucasfilm Animation right now. We just saw that Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane
Tales of the Underworld. That's coming out next week too.
in Tales
That's
of
May
the
4th?
Underworld.
Yeah. Ooh, man.
How
Which
does it
we'll
feel
try to
like
get
coming
to
back
those
to
as
those
soon as
two
we
fan
can, I
favorites?
believe.
Oh my gosh, I am a Sith girl, Jedi girl. Like, I love Ventress so much and Cad Bane. So, very excited for you to see that as well. That's on May the 4th.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We'll have the first episode up May 5th.
Anytime Asajj Ventress's name gets mentioned, I'm like, okay, and she's, all right, I'll hold on. But she's coming. All right.
It's real now.
So this is going to be very, very cool. Y'all, I am so excited for this show. I am so excited for the two of you. I love you both so much. You're so
We love you.
wonderful.
Yes, we do.
And this show is going to be so amazing. Maul Shadowlord, we cannot wait to hear more.
Excited for it.
Thank you both for stopping by. Athena Portillo, Sam Witwer, we cannot wait. More chapters of Star Wars Celebration Live are coming up right now. Don't turn away.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Gunk. Okay. Well, a little bit of nuggets in there of some information. With,
I think it was fun to hear Sam, but I think it was nuggets, right? Just little bits here and there.
Main thing I think being 1 year after Clone Wars, right? So that's interesting.
1 year after, not after Clone Wars. Was it after Clone Wars? After the Clone Wars series is done. Yeah. I get what you mean. After episode 3. Yeah, I was putting it
not
as
the epilogue.
I was putting it before and being like, wait a minute, that doesn't work. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So 1 year after that, maybe we bridge that gap between where we saw him leaving Ahsoka to where we see him in Solo. I don't know what the plan is for the show or how far it's going to go, but I think that's going to be. That's what I'm most curious about. Because then we get to see a little bit more later when we get to him in Rebels. Yep,
we certainly do.
So
we do.
Yeah, little nuggets. Yeah, nuggets with scrapes of dipping.
Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah.
So we're gonna learn. Josh Tate. Josh was one of the people that sent a super chat. Thanks for reading my email. Fun fact: Sam was also the voice in Cassian's ear this week, telling him his fake designer backstory.
Oh, really?
He was like the robotic voice. Huh?
Okay,
oh, that's cool. Yeah, Sam. I think probably because of his friendship with David Collins, will go in and do a lot of this kind of voice work. Like he's the rebel in Rogue One that says "Open fire!" like Orn Vader at the end of that movie. So that's pretty cool. Him and David also will fill in like the stormtroopers talking about things. You seen this thing? Oh, cool. They've done that a couple times.
Yeah, the little just dialogues back and forth and stuff.
That's pretty cool. So anyway, there was other stuff that was revealed, footage I think of the show, but we're trying to save our
footage of the show
for that.
Like what they showed at Celebration,
I think so,
like a trailer or something like that. Well, I mean, like I said, whenever we did a Celebration in London, there was, I think Bad Batch was one that we got to see a trailer for, and the trailer I don't believe was released right away. Skeleton Crew was one. I'm quite certain that didn't get released, but we saw something for it. So yeah, at some point I'm sure they'll put out a actual trailer out for everything, and we'll get a chance to be able to actually get to see some stuff and react to it more than just seeing the title and everything. But I mean, I'm excited for the idea of Maul being able to, like what Sam was saying about this is the Maul show, right? As opposed to like, well, this isn't really Maul's show, so we're not gonna do that. This isn't really Maul's show. We're gonna do something else. Like now, those moments that he's like, I think Maul would do this. Like, oh, okay. This is Maul's show.
Now you got the room to play.
Now we can do this. So what are we going to do next?
They talked about like some secrets. I mean, secrets from Dave, I suppose, but also like some things, exploration that we wouldn't have expected from Maul. So I wonder if like obviously we had a big revelation in Son of Dathomir about him being Talzin's actual son.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if this is a way of kind of getting that information out there for the animation viewer.
Yeah.
You know?
What lore is being held back that Dave and George had discussed and figured out, but you know, maybe Clone Wars was never the time to show it, or you know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be really cool.
My only wish that I'm not sure if I should have this expectation, but I hope that if we get any intricate fight scenes, that they go a little more mocap style than they did in the Ahsoka Maul fight. It's just. I mean, once I had it, it makes not having it worse.
I get what you mean, but I think it also depends. Maybe we talked about this before too. Yeah. But I think it depends on who he's fighting. Like I think having that for the fight against Ahsoka was great, and it added so much to that fight. But if he's just fighting Pikes, or you know, depending on who he's fighting, like it might not be as dynamic of a fight. That it's not a two force wielding.
I suppose, but I'd 100%. All day, every day, take what would Ray Park move like fighting Pikes versus just keyframe animation, Like,
sure.
Ray Park just makes everything look good when he does that type of thing. I don't know. I get you though.
I think
that's why I said like
it's a bias.
That's why I said
it's a dream.
It's a dream. I said a dream. I also said an intricate fight.
Yeah.
Not everything, because
Sure.
I understand it's going to be a lot harder, and they also had some difficulty in having the keyframe stuff actually match the animation. So technically, they did a lot of keyframe stuff in there, but it was just the weight and the feel that I appreciated so much that when I don't get it, I'm slightly disappointed. Yep. Anyway.
Well, I mean, we haven't had it again yet, then, right?
Sure.
I don't think.
Not really. I mean, we had like
you shouldn't be disappointed now.
Asajj has some moves in Bad Batch and stuff like that, but nothing crazy. Yeah, I get you. That's why I said like intricate fights.
Sure.
Something that is like really meant to be special. But I know that the reason I love that so much is because Dave put so much effort into saying the way that Maul versus Kenobi is small. I wanted Ahsoka versus Maul to be big. So having that extra touch in there, I think, makes that moment very special.
Yeah.
But that's a genie that's out of the bottle for me.
Sure, I guess. I don't know. I also don't want that moment is so big and grand and special, I think, too. Like, if everything's like that, then they're less special at the same way. But I get what you mean. It's like, should you just because you really liked your birthday cake, does that mean any cake between your birthdays should have less sugar?
I just would rather have the sugar.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You would rather just have that same sugar all.
Yeah. No, I get you.
But there's those big moments.
I
where
mean,
you're like,
you can.
It's a little sweeter.
You can mocap poorly, Like you could do it and it sucks, I suppose. But I don't know.
Sure.
Like there's just something special that, like if it was anybody else but Hayden doing those moves in Ahsoka, it wouldn't have felt the same. Like he just moves a certain way. Ray Park just moved a certain way as Maul, and I just loved seeing that that subtlety in there. So if it's not there, then I understand, but I'll just go back and watch that fight a bunch.
You just do it. You do that now anyway.
I know. I do. He's right.
But no, it was great to see Sam seem to have some excitement. Did they ever tell the story of when he found out? They never told the story of when he found out, did they?
I suppose not. Like where he was or something.
Like there was like two stories I thought of. Like, hey, tell the story of when you found. I guess the only thing they said was Dave was like, oh yeah, you're gonna watch this Maul, story that we're doing. Like, I don't know. I guess
he said something.
It didn't hit like what I thought he was.
Yeah, he said like, "Wait, when I found out, or when you think I found out?"
Yeah,
something like that.
But I didn't hear. And she's like both, but I wasn't sure what the moment was and which one was which.
Maybe
so
he was trying to avoid something. I don't
know. But anyway, no, Star Wars Celebration. Everything I saw from it looked great. Everything I didn't see from it, I await to hopefully see at some point.
Yeah.
Whatever it was I missed.
Yep.
And I look forward to working towards going to L.A. for 2027.
2027.
So
absolutely,
that'd be
going back to LA.
That'd be really cool.
Yep.
Star Wars Celebration is great. I love like what they talk about like with the fans, like I think it was one of the notes you had where just the energy of being there with like other people who just they love this as much as you do, and it's all about the celebration of the fandom.
It's
what
so
it's so much
not
about.
The internet.
Sure, no,
you know, like you don't have to deal with people just being like, well, I'm anonymous, so I can do this, you know, like you can at Celebration. People just are having a good time there.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, so yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, I think transitioning from that, we're probably going to be jumping into our book discussion. And guys, remember, we'll be talking about the book, but we're also going to be having some Q&As after this. We're going to be talking about the book, Andor, and anything else. So you can start putting questions in there, and we'll try to get to those later. But
yeah, I would definitely submit some now so that they're already in there when we get to them.
Yeah, and it can be anything you want to ask. Anything. There's nothing off the table for me when it comes to Star Wars. Is there anything off the table for you?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't think
I'd have to figure out what it is, though.
I've been talking about it for my
like,
whole
nope,
life,
that's off
and
the
I've
table.
yet to find the limit.
That's it. Can't do that one. All right. Well, and let's talk about the book. This was let's see, what was it called? The Reign of the Empire.
Reign of the Empire.
Mask of Fear.
The Mask of Fear. The first of 3 books.
Sure. A lot of times these have trilogies that they're doing, and this is the Reign of the Empire trilogy. Is the idea, right?
You know, like we really focus primarily on 3 characters, and that's Mon Mothma, Bail Antilles, and Saw Gerrera. Though I did get the feeling that maybe each book might have because I felt like this was more Mon Mothma's book.
Really?
Like a little less Bail and then a lot less Saw. I wonder if the next one will be like more Bail, and the next one will be more Saw. You know, like that was kind of the plan for the sequel trilogy. This is more Han's movie. This is more Luke's movie, and then the last was supposed to be more Leia's movie. But obviously, we couldn't do that because Carrie Fisher had passed away. But I don't know. I kind of got that feeling because I really felt like, especially on Saw's part, like
I get you on Saw's part.
You know?
I guess I didn't think about Mon and Bail. I felt like they were both in it a good bit, but then you also had some other characters around them that we had various story bits with Sujin, and Chimish
and Hacks. What's the other guy's name?
Hati.
Is that what it is?
That was the one that was running around with Bail.
Yeah. Anyway, overall, how'd you feel about the book?
Actually, I mean, I think I liked it. I don't think I would have loved this book when I was younger.
Yeah, I will say, this is made for fans of Andor. So, yeah, I don't think this is a book made for the young readers in mind. This is like 20 and up, I would say. But yeah, it's definitely it is not a young youth reader book, in my opinion. If you like the Star Wars and politics, and in my opinion, Andor is like the pinnacle of Star Wars and politics, I feel like this is much more on that side than the space opera or the fantasy.
Yeah, this has a lot more of the politics of it. It has a lot more political spying, agendas, like some of that kind of stuff. I feel like it'd be like more of Andor and the Senate scenes in Episode 1 are like the things that you're getting in this book, I think. Yeah. Which, I mean, by the end of it, like a lot of the way things came together with the story, like I think overall, like I liked the book a lot. There's a few elements of the book that felt like it hit too close to home in like a present day sense that I was like, oh man, and I think I struggled trying to get through some parts because of that. But then, like, getting into more of the Star Wars lore and stories and stuff, too, I thought it was, really good.
That's the thing about fantasy, right? Like, especially, like, the music selection for Star Wars is such that no matter what era, in the far future, it's still going to feel fresh because it's a classical oxygen in that story. But I mean, Star Wars is as big as it is because it's always relevant. There's always you can always find things that are happening in the real world and apply it. That's the great thing about fiction. But I will agree that sometimes I go to Star Wars for escapism, and there were many parts of this book where I'm like, oh no, I'm being sucked back in with these terrible feelings.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, one of the things I liked about this book is that it answered a question that I don't know if people ask it a lot, but the idea that the Emperor has killed off all the Jedi. I mean, all, but, there's stragglers out there. But essentially, like, the Jedi Temple has been ransacked. All the Jedi have been killed.
Yeah.
The Jedi are bad. They tried to kill the Emperor or the Chancellor at the time, like, all that has happened. And then, like, as you go through and you catch, like, elements of, like, later stories, the Jedi either aren't mentioned very much. Like, it doesn't seem like it was a big deal. Like, no one seemed to care that the Jedi were killed. And I'm like, did anyone care except for, like, the other Jedi? Like, there's of course going to be people who are really strong that connected the Jedi in some way or fashion that we've had stories about various times. But this one really goes into, like, the political stance. And Bail's main mission, the whole book, like, he starts off in a memorial event on Jeddah. Yeah. Where it's about the loss of the Jedi. And I don't know exactly what they're doing. There's like a big stone wheel that they're like moving and
the
stuff.
Church of the Force thing.
But it's like, it's for an in memory of the Jedi kind of thing. And his whole story is around, like, I must prove their innocence. I must, like, release the truth somehow, and I got to find the information. And, like, while all that's happening, there's still, like, people like Mon Mothma or others being like, why? Like, even if we go and we tell the entire galaxy what the Jedi did or didn't do, what do we then get from there? Because all the Jedi are dead. Yeah. Most of the people are wanting to try to prove loyalty to the Emperor. They're worried about their own safety, and there aren't even Jedi to save us for us to be like, oh, the Jedi are all good. Yeah. But they're all gone now. So what do we do? So, like, there's this weird middle ground that I think Bail is kind of stuck in, where he's like, I want to prove that the Jedi were not bad, that they weren't trying to just kill the Chancellor for no reason, and Mon Mothma and others are fighting for, like, what they can do now, what is actually worth doing, as opposed to, like, if we clear their name, what does that gain us? And I guess looking at the I don't know, the idea of what the galaxy is looking at, like, what is each individual planet after, like, clearing the name of the Jedi isn't going to help them in this situation. And it's kind of sad in the sense of, like, what this book does with all that. Because Bail Organa changes from being at a memorial for Jedi to, like, by the end of the book, like, just kind of apologizing to the heir of, like, I'm sorry, my friends, but I have to do what I think's right for my daughter. Yeah. And I think there's a line that Bria says where it's like, the sins of the previous generation shouldn't be the responsibility of the next generation. And it really feels like I don't want Leia to have to be trying to prove if the Jedi were good or not. Yeah. She has no idea who they were or anything. Yeah. I don't want that to be the legacy that they're being left with. And it's a weird journey for Bail Organa to go through. But I think this book, like, really answered a question that I didn't know, I guess, was a question of, like, why does no one care about the Jedi being dead? And the answer is kind of like, what would it do if they were told the truth? What would happen?
Yeah, like, the Jedi have been with and guarding the Republic for literal millennia, but 3 short years of the Clone Wars, Palpatine's able to convince everybody the Jedi are power hungry and want to take over the galaxy. Yeah. 3 years. But, for me, like, that kind of shows the strength of this book, in that, like, Bail has his opinions, and Mon will be like, look, you have your idealism, but we have to be practical about this. And then Saw will be like, screw both of y'all, let's blow it up, And I love, like, the ending of this book. Like, these 3 characters do not agree with each other, but they will not bow down to authoritarianism, where it's like, well, we're disagreeing about what we should do. The answer isn't just listen to that guy and don't question him. The answer is fight and talk and figure out the right way together, you know?
Sure.
And you can get that feeling of like one day these three could come together and form the rebels, you know? But not yet.
Sure.
You know, we got more books to go to.
No, it's interesting having them in an alliance, but also most of their alliance is kind of like, how do we do what we all want to do without getting in each other's way?
Yeah, sure.
Like, it's not really like we are working together to help each other.
Yeah.
We are working together so that all of us can still be trying to fight the Empire.
Yeah.
But not hinder, because so much of this was like each of them kept falling into each other. Like Mon Mothma at one point's like, "Oh no, I need some cover stories. I'll throw out Bale's name. I'll throw out this name."
Dude, I was shocked
you know?
when she did that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
and
that shocked me.
and then where Bale was, like
Yeah.
that wasn't a good time for that, and then it caused more problems, and Bale ended up falling into some Saul stuff, and like that caused some more problems too. So it's like
That shocked me, but I had to remind myself, like, she got tortured,
sure,
like day one.
Yeah.
You know, like that's gonna change things for you. So yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, wow, she's doing that now. That's crazy.
but it
makes
was
sense.
also like she wasn't expecting him to be involved in
No.
something. It was like, let me throw out a couple names, because that was what that one person talked to him about, was like, give me a few people that they'll go look at them, and since they're looking at them, they're not going to look at you right now. And that was kind of all she was thinking about. But no, just what they're doing to try to help the galaxy, you don't want to also hinder each other when they're all trying to do the same thing. Like, perhaps Eode Joretz would be in better shape had Bale not shown up where he showed up. That interrupted Saul doing the Saul stuff he was doing. You know,
Can
like,
you say it again?
I think it's Eode Joretz.
That sounds way better than my
Joretz,
attempts.
something like
I
that.
love it. I love that.
Which I think is a city.
I think so.
It's not a planet, I don't think. It's on a planet, sure, but I think it's the city, because they talked about the loss of the skyscrapers and like all this, the historical aspects of everything. But
in terms of
whichever
like,
one it is.
And in terms of like fantasy tropes, like when it comes to like Star Wars, I always kind of consider planet cities anyway. In terms of like the scale of government and stuff, like in my head, I'm always kind of thinking that way. Anyways, I get
Gotcha.
you. But it is a planet. It's
Coruscant-like.
Coruscant-like. I don't know what that word is. An ancient one. They wreck part of it.
Sure, it's an ancient one because it's got the historical relevance, right? So it's kind of like I don't know, old buildings in like Rome or whatever, right?
Sure.
Old buildings in Rome have
you just update?
like it might have been.
Or was that his Sam Witwer?
I think it was his Sam Witwer alarm. That's probably what it was. So like just having these locations that meant a lot to the galaxy, and then this destruction. Long story short, I assume you guys have read this. Otherwise, we're gonna get into spoilers and stuff with it.
Spoilers.
But
and if you haven't read it and you're not going to, then this is how you'll know.
the escape that Saul does to blow up these caverns and try to get out, they don't know what exactly is going to happen, and in the result, they destroy this historical city, and or at least parts of it, I guess.
That's Saul Guerrero to a T.
And Saul's response to that was kind of like, "Dang, well, that kind of sucks."
Oh well.
Yeah. It's like, no options. That's what we had to do. But that, and then what they have in their speech later, pushes the terrorist side of Saul and the partisans and all that to where, like, I thought it was interesting having Saul be like, we are now the most wanted group in the galaxy. Like, we are going to be target, enemy number one, because the Empire already hasn't liked us. But now all these people are going to be mad at us because of the history that we just destroyed. And that's because of Bale and Mon, which is also another way of them getting in each other's way. Like, now it's harder for Saul because they had to fix this that happened.
Yeah.
Like, there's...
No,
so
it's
I like the idea that they have an alliance, but also the alliance they have, I think, fits with what I know of them in Star Wars, because we see later in, like, Rebels and stuff where, like, Mon Mothma is like, no, you don't want to work with, I was going to say Forrest, but with Saul Guerrero, because they're real bad people. And we see them be real bad people in various things. We saw that with the Jyn Erso books and stuff.
No, he's it's hard to talk about this book without talking about Andor. But even just in the previous episodes that we've seen, like, the Empire is like, hey, we can make progress by just accelerating the situation, and that's exactly what Saul does. He's like, yeah, I'll just pour gas on the fire, and then I just have to work quicker than you do, Because if it's a matter of if it's a war of attrition, the Empire's going to win every time.
Yeah.
We got to pour gas on this thing and then go as fast as we can.
Or Rhydonium.
Yeah, or Rhydonium, yeah, which apparently is awesome. It's not just blowing up colors. It'll blow up colors in your mind.
Yeah, open your mind.
Yeah.
I did try to, and maybe I'll go through these at some point here, but I took a lot of notes, I felt like, through the story because this was just one, with it being political and stuff too, like, there wasn't always a bunch of points where it's like, oh, this is a lightsaber fight. Like, for those ones, I don't usually take notes, like, oh, he attacked his shoulder, you know? Like, I'm just kind of, like, listening to those. But this one was like, okay, this person's name, okay, and all this information for political stuff. But
matches Andor.
But I also tried to write down, in a way, my reactions to things. So, like, during the Saw thing, I put, Saw destroyed that historic city and didn't care. And I just put an exclamation point. I was like, geez, Saw. Like, it just really pushed that Saw thing. I don't know. Especially as early on in the Empire. This is 3 weeks into the Empire being the Empire now. And we learned that Mon Mothma and Bail? I'm trying to remember if it was both of them or just Mon Mothma. Like, they're both against the Emperor being the Emperor. So they're, like, Mon Mothma was arrested. And I thought Bail might have been arrested too, or he was at least considered on, like, terrorist, what was it? I don't remember what it was called, but it was kind of like for overthrowing. It's a terrorist act. It's against the Empire. And then they get kind of put on watch things and stuff too because of that. But I don't know. A lot of that kind of stuff just, I don't like the Empire to begin with, and a lot of this stuff just felt really hard to listen to sometimes with, like, the way Masamada shows up and what he shows Mon Mothma. I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah, like, as we're going through and we're trying to get this bill signed into law to limit the powers of the Emperor, I'm like, that sounds awesome. There's no way it works. And it worked. I was like, oh, cool. And Masamada was like, it didn't work.
Yeah.
You know why? He's like, because he's the Emperor.
Yeah. It was like, it doesn't matter what you do. We'll play the dance for politics, but we're still going to do what we're going to do. And you actually have no control.
Play the dance. And they do that for like 20 years until the Death Star is ready.
Yeah.
And then it blows up day one.
And it leads Mon Mothma to where she ends up, right? Like, she's a pacifist. She's a politician. And, like, by the end of this book, she's like, I'm a hypocrite. Yeah. You know, I'm not these things. I've killed a man, which I wrote down. Mon Mothma blew that dude up.
Yeah, dude.
Which I thought was crazy.
Yeah.
But it was, I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of got it, but also I was kind of like, dang, just let him go. Let him go and just see what happens.
I know. We like, you know, she's a character in the moment. We have foresight.
Yeah, I know. It's like when I watched episode 3 again this past week in theaters. And
That's
I'm
right.
Like,
you went and saw episode 3.
Like, oh, maybe this time he won't do it.
Dude, could you imagine if he didn't?
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine you went in a theater? It's like there's one theater in the country that George Lucas has changed the ending again.
No, I'm just picturing them doing like, oh guys, episode 3 is back in theaters, and it's like a what if movie, but they don't tell you, and you start watching it, and this time he doesn't cut off Mace Windu's arm, and they just stab the Emperor, and he goes home and bangs Padme, you know, and that's the whole thing.
Pretty much the alternate ending to the episode 3 game, the PlayStation game. Like, Anakin just lands and kills Obi-Wan, and then the Emperor's like, hey, good job, you killed him. He's like, oh, thanks. And he just kills the Emperor and rules the galaxy.
There you go. Then he I don't want him to rule the galaxy. I want the Senate to still be there, and I want them to all work together. But
you have
that
the
would
gift
be
of foresight.
Crazy idea.
Mon made that decision, you know? And I now can bring that decision with me when I see her in Andor. You know, that was a long time ago for her.
Yeah.
16 years ago?
Yeah.
Damn.
16 years ago. But no.
I do like also, you know, we talked about how, you know, Bail was missing the Jedi, but they're also missing Padme. Like, Padme's influence in there. Like, you get the sense that if Padme were there, like, a lot of their differences could be settled, you know?
Yeah. She was like the peacekeeper between Mon and Bail kind of thing, or the differences.
Yeah. And, like, you know, I think it's important to show that, right? Like, because Padme is in the delegation of 2000 and leads those deleted scenes that we do get Mon Mothma and Bail in, and a bunch of other senators, but Padme's the one leading it, and we don't. As I want to say, like, oh, it's so great that we get more Mon Mothma stuff because it makes up for not having those scenes because they were cut out. It just highlights how upset I am that Padme got those scenes cut, you know, because she was so important there, and we feel her absence, and we'll continue to in more books with this series. So
yeah.
We have a super chat from Olacho, who is saying something that Nexus also put down in the other chat, but it, quote, authority is brittle. Oppression is the mask of fear. Remember that. Karis Nimick, who was the kid with the manifesto in Andor Season 1. So the Mask of Fear is coming from a line of Andor. Quite enjoy that. Did not remember it. That kid said a lot of really cool stuff, but I don't have them memorized like I do a lot of other Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Thank you guys for pointing that out. And thank you for the super chat.
But no, I don't know. Just the story for all of them. Mon Mothma changed a lot. I don't know if Saw changed a lot because, like you said, we didn't get a lot of Saw.
You don't
time.
get a lot. He's more like a character. They don't even get in his head. Like it's just
No,
the other
not
characters
really.
looking at him, which
Yeah.
is why I kind of hope that the other books might do that. But if they don't, I won't be upset.
Sure.
But that's the thing. Every time we see Saw, I have to kind of guess what's going on in his head. You know, I'm constantly because he's paranoid. I'm paranoid around him. You know.
Yeah.
But
sure.
I'd like to be able to get a. Maybe it's not possible. I want to get a foothold in his mind, but we know it's not the most stable. So maybe you can't get a foothold.
See, I felt like you said Saw especially, and I don't know how much of a part Saw is meant to be in these, but I felt like the character I ended up liking more as the story went on was what I thought the third character of the book was, like the third main character. I felt like it was Bail, it was Mon, and it was Sujin.
And Sujin, yeah, sure.
Which I thought was interesting because he's like an agent of the Separatists, and he is now here in a time when there's no more Separatists, like anything.
Yeah.
They've been taken over by the Empire. The war has just ended. Like, I thought his
None of their issues have been solved by this being an empire.
Like, he was like, I had a mission, and now he's like faltering, trying to figure out what his mission should be now. And from a Separatist especially, like, we've seen so much, especially in the movies, of the Republic side. And even in episode 3, when it's like heroes on both sides fighting this war, and I'm like, just watching those 3 movies, you don't get that. It feels like the Separatists are just bad.
Yeah.
You watch Clone Wars, and you get a little bit more of that, and you get to meet some other people from Separatist worlds and what they're dealing with and going through. And
You get Christopher Lloyd in The Mandalorian. He was a Separatist.
sure, yeah, right?
But he doesn't really paint much of a light for
He's
them.
closer to like Sujin here, where he's like, that war never ended. It just stopped. The Empire took over, and I'm still against the Empire. So he's like this super strong Separatist like dude, right?
Yeah.
And Sujin's in that same spot where it's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm still fighting. Well, we're not. Why is the war just over? Why'd the battle droid shut down? Like that perspective I thought was interesting to have here. In this one, and he was also like implanted with extra upgrades and things too to be like an assassin. So as his story went through, I liked him meeting Saw in their group and trying to be like, well, maybe this could work for me.
Yeah.
Then I liked whenever he was with Bail, and he's like, hey, Bail, I got that information you want. And you're like, oh, damn. We can clear the Jedi? Maybe we do clear the Jedi and no one cares.
Yeah.
And then we just go from there. But maybe Palpatine spins it again like he did with Bad Batch when they were talking about the clones and stuff. It's like, that's why we need stormtroopers, you know? So I wasn't sure what was going to happen with that, but he kept on kind of rotating what he thought his mission should be from meeting Saw, from meeting Bail, from meeting Mon. And I thought his like loss of direction because of like he was like in a pod and then just kind of came out and it's like, well, this is where we are now. I kind of liked him as a character, but I liked it more as a perspective of separatist like people as a whole. So
Agreed. And I really felt for Bail when his proof was poofed.
No, I was surprised by that. And some of my things that I had to, I really like that we talked about Bail and how he made that decision about what to do with the Jedi for his daughter and stuff too. He had a line that I really liked that was, Jedi may not have attachments, but I do.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's right. I mean, like, he isn't. And I thought his story of Argent, I think was the Jedi that like lived with him or something like that. There was like some kind of like
Agent or Argent?
I thought it was Argent
Okay.
because he then looked at like a statue or something that was like Argent Dawn.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, oh, I've heard of Argent Dawn before.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if it was like a server on Squadron or what it was, but I remember that. And then I went back and I'm like, okay, so his last name's Argent.
Yeah.
But I thought that his connection as a kid, like nostalgia for this, you know, space wizard and the magic of these and how good of people they are, and then growing up to see more of them, just for them to be slaughtered and killed, and Like, I get why his journey was what he wanted it to be and why he wanted to clear their name so badly.
You kind of get a sense like Bale, like he loves the Jedi philosophy so much that like maybe when he was younger he was like, I want to be a Jedi, you know?
Yeah. Like in the first chapter, like there was like that admiral who was there also during that memorial, and he like, I don't think the admiral responded, but he tells him like why he cares about the Jedi so much, and I thought that was interesting to have. But in the retrospect of that versus him in like his final chapter of like looking and thinking about his daughter, thinking about what the galaxy needs, what he should do for the future, and having to just push all that away and be the idea that Jedi can't have attachments, but I do, and I have to do what's right for my attachments is like his driving factor there. And I'm like, man, it's so sad, but I get it too, especially like having kids where it's like I would need to do what's good for them, even though I feel like I need to do this, I won't be here for her. And what was it that Bria talked about with Leia? I wonder if I think I wrote it down, but I don't remember what it was. But it was talking about like you need to. She's gonna look to you. Like Bale is so good at talking to people, at bringing people together, and she's gonna watch you do that, and she can be someone like that too.
Yeah.
But it's like, but what's the reason that she's going to be like that? And Leia becomes such a big part of the rebellion. And when she talks about like the sins of the fathers kind of thing with the generations and what they have to fight for, there's like a kind of a conversation about like you don't want her to have to grow. You don't want her to have to grow up fighting for what our generation has done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's pretty much all she did. Like she was a rebel. Right?
She might be the best that's ever done it.
Yeah, like she was a rebel.
Rebel.
Even when they destroyed the Empire, she started to rebuild with that and then they grew up a resistance, and she led that resistance. Like
Trained as a Jedi with her brother.
Yeah, I don't know if part of it's like she, you know, some people would say like Saul grew up fighting, he never knew how not to fight.
Yeah.
Like Leia may have also done that a little bit, but it was always against like, you know, terrible reign and regimes and stuff of like what they were wanting to do, and that was Leia's life.
I keep going back to Ewan McGregor's performance as Obi-Wan at the end of the Obi-Wan series, where he's like, you have this of your father, but these are gifts from your mother. You know, like, that's those two characters combined. I feel like Leia gets that almost more than Luke. You know, in terms of like she has the Padme in her.
Yeah,
you know, and I think Bale recognizes / kind of stoked that fire in her. So. Yeah.
No, I agree. When talking about terrible things, I said about Maz Amata, like he led them to like the re-education camps. I thought that was terrible for the Empire. One that was like a weird moment that I didn't know how I should feel about exactly either was, I think it's the same admiral from the first chapter that shows up.
Yeah.
Bale has protesters outside. And the admiral shows up.
Yeah.
And there's like this weird nod thing he has where he's like, here, I'm here to help you. But he just starts like shooting into the crowd and stuff too. And even Bale's like, I don't know if I should say thank you. I don't know if I should like call for help because of this terrible thing that's happened. But they're like, we have a vote and we have to just go. And they just put their head down and ignore it. And I'm like, that's like nothing happens with that. Like that guy was able to just do that. Like even if he was just helping Bale. And I'm like, that's it.
Yep.
We just shot into these people, and I think he described it as like a massacre or something.
Yep.
And yeah,
it
just seemed what the Empire can do without anyone seeming to care.
It's the thing that you said earlier, where it's like, man, I want Star Wars to be escapism from real life, but I constantly have to remind myself, like, consequences don't just happen. Like the way things. Like, the right way doesn't just happen. Like, you have to make the right things happen. And if you don't respond to things, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit, but it's because I keep thinking about how much this book captured, like, some feeling. There was a couple times. Usually I have no problem, like, I'm listening to the audiobook. I'm going to listen to 5 chapters. And, like, you know, I get to the end of one chapter. I can easily go to the next one. There'll be a couple times this book where I'm like, I might stop right now. Take a little bit of a break, you know, because it was pretty effective in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nexus said something that I also had written down to talk about. He said, speaking of Speaking of Bale talking to people, how did we feel about Perrin in this? I thought that he wasn't awful. He had some nice moments with Mon, and the timing works out that Lita might have conceived at the end of the book.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
I mean, I really like that.
He definitely, go ahead.
No, I really like that. Out of any moments from this with Perrin and everything too, because he's not always my favorite character, but
No.
when Mon Mothma is in the hospital and comes to and stuff, it is said that he has been there the entire time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like,
I know.
like all this shit I give him sometimes about
Look, I
stuff,
mean-
but like he was out of anyone, like he was making sure he was there for his wife that whole time when she was like, is she gonna survive? She was this bomb was really close. She was injured. Like, I thought that was great, and I don't know if that led into why they may have conceived a baby,
Yeah.
But
I understand. Yeah, it's kind of. I liked seeing those scenes. I like seeing him in that light. Whenever I see him in the Andor series, I'm not thinking that they've been together for how many years now, and marriages change throughout years and stuff, and they don't always change for the better or anything. But it was nice to see, like, I think they probably had some good times in their marriage.
yeah,
When the galaxy's not on fire.
yeah,
No,
I mean that's the thing too. Like you've had war, you've had all this stuff, and Mon is a senator.
Yeah.
Where all and what all in the galaxy has she had to be doing, while also like she's not with her husband. Like her husband is doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
So like there's this separation thing, and I know there's been like talks of them being with people and stuff too. Even in this one here, she creates a story of her being with someone, which kind of complicates some things too and stuff. But she ends up turning him away.
Yeah.
And I think she also says that maybe that even has like some nods into like their intimacy moment and stuff too.
Sure.
But no, I can't imagine it being easy in a galaxy of war and everything the Empire's going through and stuff too. But it was nice to see that like in the moment of how hurt is she, like she needs someone there with her, that he was there with her, which I thought was great.
Yep. Yeah, me too. But it was cool to see him interact with Bale a little bit.
Yeah.
And Nexus says, like, Perrin and Bale being car guys is quite funny.
I know. Was there another moment? I can think of the moment with Mon where she was like, "Oh, and here's that speeder." Bale and Perrin would have known what it was, but Mon does not. Like it was like one of those kind of moments.
Think about it. Maybe like his speeder that he brings to the Jedi Temple is like a hot rod. Because now that we've seen a lot more Coruscant in the Disney era, like not everybody has tricked out awesome speeders. He had a pretty cool speeder he caught Yoda in.
Yeah. Get in here. Or whenever he parked in. It's probably the same speeder actually. I think right. When he parked in what was it? Jet Lucas? Was that who it was?
Yep.
Who was the Jedi kid there?
Yep. But yeah, this book made me, the first season of Andor, like Perrin, when he has that, what's that one line he has where he talks about how boring something is, when it comes to Mon. I'm just like, man, that's such a insulting thing to say to your spouse, like you can think it, but don't say it, Perrin, It was nice seeing these moments here that I think I'm going to bring that with me into Andor. There's a lot of stuff to bring in to Andor with this, but
yeah, I think there is
for that character
for Mon especially.
Like the first time I read his name in this book, I was kind of, or heard his name in the book, I was kind of like, oh yeah, Perrin's in the, but
yeah. I guess most of our experience with him's only really been Andor, probably, right?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he was incepted in Andor.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I don't remember Mothma having a husband.
Sure. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's in other books or other comics or anything, but I feel like most of my knowledge of him comes from what I've seen of him in Andor.
Sure.
And I did like him much more in this than I did in Andor. Though in Andor Season 2, I think he's been better. Like, it seems like they're working together more so in what they're after. And, like, there's... was it this book? I feel like it was this book where there was kind of like this talk of like Perrin would do this and he's great at talking to people and I could be able to go and do this. And there's kind of like this way they work together to do things, but it's also kind of separate at the same time. He doesn't know everything she's doing.
You get the feeling like, and this is the case with super high class marriages in Chandrilla and other cultures. Like it's more of a partnership than it is a loving marriage, but I like the threads of like, no, there's loving in there too.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not at the forefront.
Yeah.
But Lita was a Legends character brought into canon, but Perrin is new. Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool. Interesting.
The book brought up, it was with let's see, what was their name? Chimish, who was a, like, I don't know, disciple of Hati. Is that the right word? Like an agent under Hati.
Is it Haki?
I thought it was Hati.
Hati? Okay.
Is it with a K? Maybe it's. Let me see. I have it written somewhere.
Gotcha.
Haki. I put Haki, but
Okay.
I don't know. I just, because I was listening, I always just write things phonetically. So like my E-O de Joritz is like E-E-O, the word day. So I keep trying to do that with it. So thank you, DGO, for the bits.
Thank you.
100 bits. Yep, Haki. But like Haki was an old, like, Imperial agent who also worked for the Republic that was ended up with Bale. Was it Haki that also had the line talking about, like, Empire, Republic, different names, same people?
I think so.
So, like, their viewpoint, and I get it, where it's like, it's the same thing as what it was before. It's just that the way the law is working now is different, right? But they're not really looking at it like that. It's like, my people were in trouble, the Republic came to save it, and now I will use my life to help save the Republic. Which
I
is
definitely
kind of the opposite of Sujin, who was like, my people were in trouble because, like, they couldn't, like, they were dying out because they couldn't breed or something like that, and they needed, like, genetic help or something, and the Republic didn't. Like, they voted, and it ended up being a no, and then they didn't go and help them. So then Sujin held that against the Republic. So it's like they're both on, like, opposite ends of that aspect.
That's a good point. I did appreciate seeing some Imperial points of view that weren't like hard-hitting Imperials that we know that, like, can't show much in terms of, like, remorse, or maybe they could change, you know? And I am kind of anticipating, if these characters continue on to the next couple of books, we might get some Imperials that switch over.
Yeah.
You know, depending on, I don't know, like, what the time period of the next couple of books is meant to be. Like, are we going to have a significant jump, or is it going to be right after, you know, that type of thing. But I do want to follow them a little bit more.
Well, were you surprised about Haki at the end? Because, like, I thought she was dead. And I was like, did I miss something? Or is it just like, this is a surprise right now? Because I thought she died in the flood, or at least she was gone.
Sure.
But it felt like, oh, man, she's dead.
Yeah.
And then whenever, like, Chimish shows up at the end, and, like, Haki's there, there is, I mean, you're talking about Imperials changing sides or any of that kind of stuff. They had that line where it's like, help your people, help your employer, help your nation, or something like that, right? It was like the order of, like, trying to watch out for stuff. And she felt more like, I don't know what the answer is anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, someone who's been so gung-ho about protecting the Empire, because it's the same as the Republic, you could have some changes there. And then they also talked a little bit about, like, why did Zuma? Is that the name? It was Mon's, like aide?
Like assistant.
Yeah, Zuna or Zuma, or
The one that gets
that
killed.
dies. Yeah, she dies in
It's
it.
like it's meant to be Mon's kill, right?
I think it's supposed to be like
the target.
Yeah, but it was her instead.
Yeah.
But then there was, like, a question by Chimish towards the end too about like, why was she killed? Like, maybe she knew something. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be Mon, but it was covered up to be as if it was Mon.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll pick that back up.
Yeah.
In the next book or so.
So I'm curious on that aspect as well. Zuna. Yeah, Zuna. Thank you, Nexus.
Zahuna.
But yeah, her death, like, it didn't hit me, but what her death did for others hit more, I think, too, because I wasn't super attached to them yet. But that happened early on.
Sure. Yep.
I think one of the harder hitting parts is towards the end of Mon. Actually, this might have been the last chapter, actually. She was, like, standing outside, but she was thinking about the Empire, she's thinking about the Republic, she's thinking about all this stuff going on. And she has a moment where it's like, when the sun rose, she let her fears, her dreams, and her love for the Republic that she believed in go. Like, it's a moment of everything that she thought the Republic stood for, that she wanted the Republic to stand for, what she was afraid that they were losing from the Republic. Like, all these aspects, she has to let go and do everything she can as Senator Mon Mothma. Like, she can't be a pacifist because she's killed someone. She can't, like she has that moment like, hopefully this is enough and I can do enough. And then, like, I think we see more of what that is weighing on her in Andor.
Sure.
Like, the dance scene that we had in Andor, I think, is one of her, like, she takes 2 drinks, and it's a matter of, I'm not thinking about anything, and I'm just going to try to dance and relax. And it's like, this one talks about her anxiety and everything. She takes anxiety medicine and stuff, too. And her buildup in, like, I mean, literally the anxiety, the tension, like, seeing Moss say, like, look, it doesn't matter what you do. We already did the war and we won. And you think you can start a war?
Yeah.
It's over. And she's just wanting to try to save as many people as she can and to just finally let go of everything. Like, watching the prequel movies and being like, here's what the Republic's meant to be. Watching Clone Wars and the Republic trying to come and help people. And you're like, this is what the Republic is meant to be.
Yeah. And
she has to just let all of that go. And I'm like, man, this is so sad and terrible.
It's sad thinking about, like, the High Republic and Lena So, like, we are the Republic, for light and life, and what's come to. But yeah, Mon has to let go the idea that we can still salvage this. Like, we can get back. We can get it back. We can do it. We can rein him in.
Yeah,
but you can't rein him in. You'll get the reign of the
Empire. We'll remove his power. Someone else might go into power. We'll figure out something else, and she's got to the point now where it's like there's nothing we can do. Like, that's why she goes and makes an alliance with Bail and Saw and let us not get in each other's way. And what'd she say? I kind of liked when they talked and they were like, we will all do, like, what was it? Saw is going to be the fighter who fights the fights that you can't even win. Bail is going to be like the hope and the light, and then Mon was going to be something else, and I don't remember what it was. I think she was gonna fight the governors that, like, remove governors that shouldn't be governors, and she was gonna fight for the authority being used in these, like, facilities that shouldn't be used, and, like, that was the route that she was gonna go. So, like, there was all different things they were fighting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at least there's, like, a light idea of what they're wanting to do. And I don't know. This whole book is just. It's the acceptance that the Republic is gone. It's the acceptance that the Jedi are gone. Like,
we have to let that go.
And the more I think about that, the more I'm like, that sucks, and I hate this book. But it does it in such a good way. Yeah. But yeah, it
is the dark times, Aaron.
It's like the wrap up of Episode 3 from, like, the rest of the galaxy.
I definitely agree that this fills in, like, some story holes for, like, the wrap up of Episode 3. There's a couple books that I consider when I'm thinking of the wrap up, and this fills in the political gaps that I think is needed.
You mentioned about Padme, like, the haunting that Bail has of, like, wishing Padme was there. I really liked when he did his speech and the vote was coming through and he told 3PO to stay.
Yeah. I know. That was nice.
Because it's like, oh, man, that's the last little bit of He doesn't remember a dang thing.
Yep.
But it's the last little bit of Padme that I have that can just kind of be here and no one knows,
Yep.
And I just thought that was so sad and sweet.
Peaceful until he starts talking.
Yeah. Oh, it's an honor, sir. You're like, no, please don't talk about it.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, I quite enjoyed the book, and I'm greatly looking forward to where they take us next in this series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know exactly when that's going to be.
I am interested as well.
Yeah.
The book got me. I think the part when the book got me the most interested early on was in the first chapter from the Admiral. I really liked when he's like, they're talking about the Jedi and different things. Like, the question I would ask is, why did the Jedi want to kill Palpatine? like sure, they must have. Like, that's what he said did. He never said why they wanted to. What was the reason? Like, they got up so high in their, like, arc of the hierarchy of Jedi, like, leadership.
Yeah.
They got up so high into that, no one caught on, no one knew what was going on. And that was an Admiral of the Empire. But he's like, yeah, but they were good people, you know. He's still here. So like
would've-
this everything's so complicated. Like here's an admiral for the Empire being like, hey, Jedi were good.
Yep.
But then later on he shows up and shoots all these people, you know. And I'm like, what are you applauding the good, but you don't need to be the good? I don't know. But yeah, it covers a lot, like you said. Episode 3, what does the galaxy think?
Yeah.
You know, Mon Mothma and the Senate. What would they do after Padme's funeral? What's happening in the galaxy?
Yeah.
And this is what is happening in the galaxy. They even talk about the siege of Coruscant and what it was like, and Mon explains it to Sujin a little bit too.
Yeah.
And I thought like getting that was an interesting bit because it's like, well, the rich, important places got fixed up, but some of them other places, like, we just don't look at that. I'm like, dang, man.
Well,
but it's also been 3
that's what
weeks.
happens.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
So yeah, it's written really well, but it sucks.
Alexander Freed, I believe, was the author, which I know he did a series of books called Alphabet Squadron that maybe one day we'll get to.
I've heard that.
We haven't really had any like Starfighter-focused novels yet, have we? For you? I know that you've always really liked pilots and starfighters.
I don't think we have.
But we haven't really had that. I read the old X-Men.
Dude, X-Men?
The X-Wing books back in the day, and Koran Horn and stuff. And Next says they're on the plan. The alphabet, I'm assuming. But yeah, so maybe that's the next time we'll get to Alexander Freed's authorship. But I did like his writing and his prose. I thought he was pretty good. And he also wrote Battlefront Twilight Company.
Well, we did do that one.
And the Imperial Agent storyline in the Old Republic.
Oh.
I played not all of that storyline, but what I did play, I really enjoyed. That's cool. Okay.
A lot of the Star Wars Old Republic storylines were really good.
Yep.
And some of the books beforehand were good.
Yeah.
A lot of that was Drew Karpyshyn, but I didn't. But having Alexander Freed do some of that's cool.
Sure.
I didn't know everyone that wrote those, so really good.
Looks like he did the Rogue One novelization too. I've never read that one. I'll have to check that out. Okay, well, guys, that was the Reign of the Empire, the Mask of Fear. The next book we'll be covering is going to be Force Collector by Kevin Schnick.
Schnick.
And the thing that's interesting about this is that it takes place in 32 ABY. So that's shortly before The Force Awakens. So we'll be going into the sequel era.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that.
And we haven't done any books in that era, have we? Huh. All right.
Don't believe so, sir.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing I want the most. you
Yeah.
know? We have so much supplemental material for the other eras, and it's only made the prequels better for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Better and better and better. To the point where I can rewatch those movies and enjoy them so much more because of that. I want to be able to do that. I know there's a lot of that out there already, but we haven't gotten to it yet.
Clone Wars added a lot. Bad Batch added a lot. Yeah. Even Rebels added a lot to, in that era.
Yeah.
But I have talked about, like, wanting, like, man, Mandalorians, like, it's close, but it'd be great to, like, give us a little bit more in that era. So that'd be interesting to read a book in that.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. That'll be the next one. So if you haven't read it, you have a month.
A month.
Yeah.
Yes. The next date for Badonkagonk is June 5th.
June 5th. All right. Well, Aaron, we got about 15 minutes left, which is plenty of time to get to every question that's been submitted across our streams, I assume. So if we have any questions.
Well, thank you, Chase. He likes my hair. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Chase.
All right. Let's see what questions we have that we can snag. We have some from YouTube and also from Twitch, I see.
Okay. Yep.
Ronan Unchained.
Hey,
What's
Ronan.
been your favorite interaction in Andor Season 2? Also, spoilers, guys. We talk about everything that's out so far pretty much. So.
Yep.
Mine is Mon Mothma and Orson Krennic. Love seeing them go head-to-head. Metal!
Oh, that's a good one. My favorite interaction. It's not so much an interaction. My favorite scene, I think, so far has been Mon Mothma's dance. I really enjoyed Luthen talking with his assistant back in his shop. It was like not the first, but it felt like he was almost yelling at himself in that scene. It's like this is the one person he can be like the most honest with, and he's angry but it's like a general angry about what they're doing, and it's like him giving like himself a chance to like reflect a little bit. Like, you're dumb, you're doing this, and you shouldn't be doing this. You're making mistakes, but everybody relies on you, so you have to be a rock, and you have to be certain in everything you do. People need to not doubt you. You know, I really like that scene for Luthen's character.
Sure.
Might be mine.
Man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my favorite would be necessarily. You mentioned the Mon dance thing, and it's not necessarily interaction, but what we got in the first arc in general. Like, the dance is the culmination of everything for that wedding stuff happening. But the two things that were really split between, for the most part, is the people in the fields at the farm.
Yeah.
And then the wedding stuff on Chandrila. And I think it has such a mixture of, like, things going on in the galaxy, like what it's a little bit of the privilege side of things, but it's also a little bit of like, this is one of the worst things Mon has had to do in sacrifice for against the Empire, right? Like, she's trying to get money and things to help to fight against the Empire and do all that, so she's having to marry off her daughter, which is a really rough thing for her. And there's been so much, and now she's looking at Tay, who's driving off, and he's getting too close to things and may spoil it, so he's got to go. And like, these things here are also really tough for her, and she's dancing, trying to ignore and forget it. But through all those things happening and stuff, we keep cutting back to these people who are just trying to survive. You know, it's not a wedding. There's no celebration at all. Even though she has a celebration, it's bad for her. This side has, terrible things with the Empire coming, them trying to survive, them trying to figure out if they should hide and run. Bix's scene, which is really bad. The death of Bassos, is that right? Brasso. I keep, there's a character from another show called Brazos, and I'm like, I know it's not that.
Gotcha.
So I keep trying to find what the letters are that isn't that, but it keeps messing me up. But I really did enjoy. I saw some people that had said like they didn't like episode 2 or 1, or the wedding stuff wasn't doing it for them. But I think the comparison between these people here and these people here is what you're supposed to be looking at a little bit with that. And I think it's done really well in that 3-episode arc. So
yeah, thank you for the question.
Let's see, John. Gilroy has talked about exploring other genres with Star Wars. Personally, I would love an adaptation of the Galaxy of Fear books in a similar tone to Skeleton Crew. What genres would you like to see?
I remember the Galaxy of Fear
Galaxy
books.
of Fear?
Man, the book fair had a book called Star Wars: The Galaxy of Fear when I was a kid, and it was like a green cover, and then there was like a holographic like monster. And I remember being like, this is cool. I remember buying it, and I didn't read it for years.
Okay.
But yeah, they were like not horror, necessarily, but they're scary, but they're for younger kids. So, what genres though?
I definitely want horror in Star Wars. I think that would be. I was so excited last October when we read the Death Trooper book. Like, I love the idea of horror in Star Wars, and it's only done briefly, and usually like parts of episodes.
Sure.
There's that Geonosis episode that's a little scary. There's the one Bad Batch episode that like is kind of scary in the beginning, and then things just kind of grow crazier. I don't think we get too much like horror elements. You could maybe say Vader in Rogue One is scary, but I think it's kind of scary in different ways.
Sure.
So horror would be one that I would really like.
I can see that. We mentioned pod racing already.
Is that a genre?
Yeah, dude, a racing Star Wars series. I would 100% watch that. That'd be cool. I can only think of something completely unconventional. I want, like, in Andor recently, we got to see like the morning talk show. Yeah. I want to see like Star Wars news, but they're covering like the events that I already know about.
Okay.
Like, what does the Imperial HoloNet talk about when they're like they're not? Are they going to report that the rebels destroyed the Death Star? Because that's not going to look good.
What are they saying?
What do they actually say? But they will report that we routed them off Hoth.
Yeah. What was said after the events of Lothal?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what was said then about that?
I don't know. It would be kind of cool to get like diegetic, like like media in Star Wars as a show.
This just in: Lothal has no more empire, and Wales. You know, like,
Yeah.
Wales took Admiral Thrawn.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I don't know.
Like, you know, like to be able to watch, like, in the Clone Wars, they're talking about stuff, but then subtly you can hear Palpatine's, like, propaganda about the Jedi.
Yeah.
And it's being like, and then, the Jedi were involved, and apparently a lot of people died. Ooh. Well, that happens when Jedi are around, more and more.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that would be kind of a cool, like, version of a show to, like, here's Star Wars news.
Yeah. You could also have, I don't know if I want a show for it, but I think what would be neat to see would be, you know how Palpatine Episode 3 is like watching like that ballet?
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to just like, let's just watch like one of these ballet things. Like here's I don't know, it's 40 minutes long. That's the show. And it's like you went to the opera and you're watching the show of it.
Okay, I like that.
Like that just might be a neat thing to do.
Yeah.
But I want horror first.
Okay. So horror, and then that.
Horror first.
I'll go. Yeah, I have speed racing, and then I have news.
I mean, if we can do,
and then like I want like Bob Ross's The Joy of Painting, but it's Gascano with 4 arms, or like Dexter, that'd be kind of cool.
Why Gascano?
Well, because he has 4 arms, so you just do.
But he's not a painter, is he?
He'd be able to paint quicker.
But is he a painter?
Well, you don't know.
Well, I want someone who can paint like Bob Ross.
You don't think a super successful speed racer might have other hobbies?
I don't know. Did Speed Racer paint?
Yeah, dude. He totally did. You never watched it, did you?
No, I didn't. He did.
I can just say anything.
I also would really like it might be more on the military side of things, but I really want like a Wave Squadron, like a Wave Squadron. Sorry.
I would like that too.
A Rogue Squadron.
Wave Squadron, the TV show.
I would love Rogue Squadron type of thing. Like, there's been another mention of another one.
Starfighter.
Yeah, like that sounds cool. And they even said about an actor going to be in it.
But you're not letting yourself get too excited?
They've canceled so many Star Wars projects.
Oh, I'll wait until I see a trailer.
I don't want to get too attached or too excited yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, a trailer, then I might be a little bit more excited.
Yeah.
But all those times that they mention, here's a new trilogy over here, and here's this other thing we're going to do over here, and then they cancel it. They showed us a teaser for KOTOR, and that never came. So we just got to play the old one tomorrow.
I know, tomorrow. Oh, God. Next question from Taryn, Wave Rider from New Zealand here. When do you think we'll see the infamous return of Star Wars, myth or legend? Thank you guys for creating this platform for which we can all celebrate Star Wars. Yes, I got to do a new installment of myth or legend at some point. That one took a lot of research.
Yeah.
So I got to spend some time doing it, but that will be fun.
Maybe if anyone has, like, myth, legend, like, things like, hey, this is crazy shit from Legends.
You're right. Yeah, send me in some... just go badonkagonk at blindwave.com. Send me your suggestions for myth or legend. I'll try to put that together.
I don't look at it. I will stay away because I gotta like. Oh, what? Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones found Han Solo in a Yeti. That's crazy. But no, that was a fun moment though. Crying mountain. All right.
It was a lonely mountain.
Lonely mountain. Fabuccino says, "What is premise in Star Wars that you think would benefit from the same kind of tone as Andor?" So
what's a premise?
Kind of similar to what we were talking about of like genres and stuff, but what's a premise that would have a good like the Andor tone you would like to see in something else?
Like hyper realistic, less focus on fantasy.
I mean that might go with the the Rogue Squadron of idea.
Some type of starfighter thing.
I mean Rogue One might be kind of close to it, but with the Star Wars, the idea of the actual like on the ground military, kind of like Saving Private Ryan or something like that, like that's very grounded and very like dark and stuff. And maybe a story like that could be interesting to see from whether it's a Clone Wars perspective, a rebellion perspective. Like there's so many different aspects of where war happens that you could kind of put in there. We get a little bit of that in Solo, but not to the extent of it being like, Saving Private Ryan or super serious or anything, You get a fourth arm grabbing your pants and pulling them, scratching your butt, A little different.
I'm still thinking, but that really put an image in my head. I don't know. I can think all day of the stuff I want, but something specifically for the Andor
tone? Yeah.
The thing I love about the Andor tone is that I didn't expect it, and if you had asked me, do you want this, I would have said no.
Yeah.
But that's why I enjoy it.
I mean, even we were getting ready to watch season 2, and Eric's like, "Oh, I'm so excited." I'm like, I'm not necessarily excited because like Andor hasn't like season 1 wasn't like my favorite Star Wars, and I think because it's so grounded.
Yeah.
But then we watch it, and I'm like, "Oh man, it's so good though." It's just when I think of Star Wars, I think of the crazy fantasy stuff, not the man. This one kind of makes me sad, and this world sucks, and like for some reason, Clone Wars didn't feel so dark and gloomy all the time. Andor's in that world where it just like, man, this world sucks.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. That's the consequence of the rating culture that you live in, and I refuse to take part of it.
What's the consequence?
Yep. That you were like, oh, well, it's not my favorite.
It's
Well,
not.
something has to be your favorite for you to anticipate it and enjoy something? No.
What, to be excited? Yeah, probably.
It has to be your
Yeah.
favorite to get excited?
I'm not excited when you just set like, I don't know, a Diet Coke in front of me. But if it's like cherry Dr. Pepper, I'm like, ooh, yeah,
It's
sweet.
relative. If I haven't had a drink for 4 days, I'm very excited.
Well, I feel like I get to.
You had too much Star
I feel like I
Wars?
get to drink Star Wars enough that I can kind of pick when my favorite stuff shows up sometimes now.
If you had told me when I was a kid to be like, one day you'll have too much Star Wars, I'll be like, pfft. And right now I'm like, pfft.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. Like if I didn't have any Star Wars,
I
I'm like, ooh,
understand.
Andor's coming out. It's been 5 years, I'd be like, oh god. But at the same time, though, like I said, I watch it. And I'm like, oh man, I love the stories with Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
I love the political intrigue and stuff, and the secret agent. I love Andor being a fashionista. Like I thought all that stuff was really
get what
good.
you
It's
mean.
just fun to see.
I think that when I'm watching new Star Wars, like, Maul Shadow Lord, I'm going to have expectations going into it. Like, well, what could this be? But, like, going into Andor Season 2 specifically, because Andor Season 1, I had, like, well, Cassian's like, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old, and, he was a lot darker of a character. I had some guesses, but I could not guess what we were going to do. So that's why I was heavily anticipating Season 2, because I have no expectation of what it's going to be other than, like, we're getting to the end. But Tony Gilroy is the kind of guy where it's like, you have no idea how I'm going to get you there.
Oh,
You know?
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
I guess I have some assumptions, but maybe I don't. Maybe
Sure.
they're all wrong too.
We'll see.
But I also think the acting in it is like I love the prequels, but I think the acting in it was better than like a lot of the acting I saw in prequels. Like I think the actors in the show do a really
Better
good job.
than the prequel acting?
It was one of the things I said about watching episode 3. I'm like, Melanie, you know what? There's a few parts where I'm like, this is kind of cheesy, but I love it. Whenever Palpatine's like, "Oh, Anakin, I'm too weak," I'm like, I kind of I kind of laughed at it more this time than I did previously when I was like, first time it came out. I'm like, I remember my sister, and my mom laughing at that part. I was like, "Shut up, this is so serious. You see what's happening to Palpatine, and Anakin's gonna do terrible things. You guys laughing." And then this time I was watching, he's like, "Oh." And I'm like, okay, it's a little funny. he's like really like laying it in there, like hamming it up.
He is the traitor.
Anakin.
I love those though. I get
I'm
you.
so weak.
The only one there's only a couple scenes.
But I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah. No. Well, it's
like especially
melodramatic.
Palpatine in that moment there.
The romance scenes get a lot of hate, but like they're meant to be old Hollywood.
Sure.
Lucas is just obsessed with like paying homage to stuff that like sometimes it gets in the way of his storytelling.
The thing I would say too on so many of those is that I feel like it all has like that cheesy moment there with Palpatine is like he's really pushing Anakin, who is like distraught and doesn't know what he's doing. So he's like, I gotta tell him, oh, I'm too weak to do it. The romance scenes and stuff too. I'm like, well, yeah, but it's like this little slave kid who never had a relationship probably, and then became a celibate Jedi monk.
Yep.
And doesn't know what a relationship is there either.
And then
is still only attached to the one girl he's ever met.
Yeah. Paired up with a girl
like,
who, since she was 12,
Yeah.
is like a politician.
Yeah.
And only has a thought of Paulo on the beach, and doesn't like, ooh, there's a cute boy here, though.
and spends her time as the queen being like, I must not show emotion so that when my other me's are playing me, they don't show emotion. It's like there's so many elements there where I'm like, they don't know what they're doing. They're just in love with each other,
Yeah, so
like,
if you think about all that and then watch those scenes, just as good of acting as Andor, season 1 and 2, right?
yeah.
I agree. Next question.
I think we're out of time.
No,
Eric.
we can do a rapid fire one.
What do you mean a rapid fire one?
Do a rapid fire question.
Stolzawibly says, do the events of Andor and the Mask of Fear complement each other or affect each other in other ways that one should notice?
Ooh, definitely compliment, I would say. Especially with characters like Perrin, where I'm like, oh, I can kind of add that in there. And then, obviously, Mon and Bail as well, sure. I'm anticipating more Bail Organa in season.
I always want more Bail.
Yeah.
He's like one of my favorite characters, I think, in Star Wars.
that might be tested if we get more Bale this season with the new actor. I wonder how much you just love Jimmy Smits.
I do like Jimmy Smits.
You do?
I do.
Maybe you.
But I
hate
can only
Bale
think of
Organa.
2 things that I'm seen him in that I'm like, oh yeah, I love Jimmy Smits. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen more.
Star Wars and Dexter.
That's it.
There you go.
That's all I've seen him in.
I've seen him in
so.
a lot, but yeah, he's great. I love him.
I may have seen him in other stuff and didn't realize or anything.
Yeah.
But Miss Congeniality guy is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Yeah. And you might be thinking, like, you guys haven't reacted to that yet. We did that this morning. That will be out.
As soon as we can.
Or, yeah, it should be out soon. So we talk more in depth about the recasting of Bail Organa there and the reasons why it's happened. So, but I want to talk about it more, but we can't because it's time to end.
It is time to end.
I can't believe we can get to all the questions.
Yep. Can't believe it. Sorry. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. As mentioned before, June 5th will be the next Badonkagonk. We are going to be doing the Force Collector. I assume that's like the Bone Collector or something, you know? I don't know. Like, it'd be an interesting story to see what that is. Tomorrow.
I imagine it's like Indiana Jones or something.
Oh, really? I was thinking of like maybe this is like a weird murder mystery. The Force Collector. I don't know. It could be Luthen doing stuff.
Could be.
We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. where we're gonna start playing Knights of the Old Republic. It's swapping out for our usual group streams, but that'll be me and Eric. We're excited for that. And then Saturday at 10 a.m. we will be having a bigger chunk of play with Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Our goal is to beat it in like a week or 2.
That's the goal.
So we'll
see if it
that's
happens.
what we're going for. But also we want to like just talk about Star Wars with you guys, with each other. So we're looking forward to that as well.
We'll see you tomorrow on Terrace.
Yes. So until next time, may the Force be with you.
Always.
Go, go, go.